Welcome to the Vini Curiosity July case preview. Your wines are going to be delivered on the 18th and 19th of July, and the virtual tasting is going to be on the 20th of July. So without further ado, let's crack straight into the wines. Now, it's a lovely case as usual, of course it is. We'll kick off with the Roccafiore. Now, Roccafiore, they came to the tasting. Thank you, all of those who joined us, who came to St. John Smith Square a couple of weeks ago. And this wine was open on taste. Maybe some of you can remember it. It is made from Trebbiano Spoletino. Now, Trebbiano is a big old family, and not all the members of the family are related. They've managed to adopt a few children, and Trebbiano Spoletino is one of those. And it must come from the town of Spoletino. If it doesn't come from the town of Spoletino, you can't put the name of the grape on the label. So this doesn't have the name of the grape on the label because it's not from Spoletino. This is from Todi. Todi usually specialize in Grechetto di Todi. And you'll have had the Fior, which is the white wine they make from the old vines, which has won Tre Bicchieri a number of times in the Gambero Rosso. I suspect this is even better. It's really good wine. It's the first wine they've made in amphora. It's the 2020 vintage. It's the first release they've made. I think it's extraordinary. It's a really good wine to kick off with. It's got a freshness to it. It's got lovely weight. It's got great texture. It's superb Trebbiano. L'altro bianco is what they've called it because it's the other white. It's not allowed to have a name, so it's kind of got that wine with no name feel about it, which is great. Then we go to Sant'Agnese, which L'Étrange. Now, the L'Étrange is an interesting wine because, like all of the wines from Sant'Agnese, there's no fixed way of making them because it's Paolo and his father. The quality is always excellent, but they behave exactly according to what the vintage can give them. This time, 2020 vintage, we're running at 14% alcohol, so not as strong as these have sometimes been. It's 100% Vermentino. They prefer Corsican clones, so it's mainly Corsican clones. And it's got the usual thing. It's well-juiced ferment in one tank, so they just make one, I think it's 1,500 litre tank. And they select individual grapes to go into that tank. And that's where the skin contact is coming from. So this gets 13 months of skin contact with individual berries. It's almost a maceration. And the result of that is you get this wine with incredible density and richness. You might think this is an oak-aged wine, but it's not. The levels of glycerol are higher than almost anything I've tasted. It's an astonishing wine. It's got a lovely, rich, big mouthfeel. It's a food wine. Don't try having this as an aperitivo. It's a rubbish aperitivo, but it's magnificent tropical style white wine. Nothing quite like it. I hope you enjoy it. Then we go to the reds. Start with Carla Bionda, very old favourite of ours, superstar producer. Alessandro and Nicola, they've just done remarkable things. Alessandro is really becoming one of the most respected winemakers in Valpolicella for his purity of vision, and he looks at the whole wine market. He tries to make great wine, and does make great wine. So the Castelvegri is, to my mind, the best of all of his wines because this is the style I like best. This is, it's not the Amarone, it's a single vineyard which is reserved only to make naturally aspirated classic red wine. So by that I mean there are no dried grapes. The vineyard is matured. Normally it's picked at the point that they're aiming for, the balance of fruit and acidity. Aging is all organically grown or organically cultivated vineyards, and it's then matured in botte grande, so large barrels. It's an astonishing wine. It's the purity and the freshness of this Valpolicella. So a little bit more than what I'd call a standard Valpolicella Classico. Here you're aiming for something that's a more serious wine where you have more texture, you have more weight, the fruit is more defined, the acidity is not quite so bright as you'd get on a Valpolicella. It's an astonishing wine. I would put it more akin to going towards Pinot-esque sort of characteristics. My favourite tasting note ever on this wine is from Pollyanna, who just questioned why I bothered selling anything else. It's easily the best wine we sell. Maybe she's right, maybe she's wrong. Who cares, really? And then we move on to the Sant'Agnese. So we've got two wines from Paolo this time. Sant'Agnese Libeccio. Now this is 2010 vintage. This bottle isn't. 2010's coming out of Bonn next week. 2010, it's 13 years old. That's the current vintage. It's Sangiovese from the coast in Piombino. So Piombino has something really different to almost everywhere else. It's Val di Cornia. And Val di Cornia has Galestro, so it has similar soils to those of Chianti, but it has the climate of Bulgari. So, you know, you are almost making a Chianti, well, it's the same grape as Brunello, the same grape as Vino Nobile, same grape as Chianti Classico, but you're doing it in an area which has become very famous for Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot. The interpretation is incredible because you get more spice, more richness. It's more about power and softness of fruit and just easy drinking, actually. It's big, easy drinking Sangiovese. I think this is going to appeal to a lot of people. I think he's done it beautifully. The oak is in perfect harmony. The spice is lovely. It's a great, great wine. Then where do we go after that? Oh, Then things start to go a little bit wrong. When I say a little bit wrong, I've been trying to wean myself off Nebbiolo in Vini Curiosity cases, but this time we have dropped back in a little bit. But we haven't dropped back entirely with straight Nebbiolos. We start off with brand new wine. My friend Giuseppe found this one for me, and he was quite funny. He said, "We've got to go and see these guys in Cesano." And as we got closer to this Cantino, I realized it's actually Conero. So it's made. This is Eleanor's estate, Neri, but she doesn't make the wine. It's actually made by Conero, who she owns the vineyard. Conero make the wine. It's a really perfect arrangement because it means that Eleanor's paying for the beautiful barrels, which Conero get to use. So it's very, very classic Cesano. Vineyards managed by Conero, wine made by Conero. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Cesano. And this is from the 2018 vintage. I think they've done a magnificent job. So the winemaking is always immaculate there. You've got a beautiful freshness to it, lovely spice, because what Cesano does, it has some Vespolina in it. So the Vespolina just brings in a little bit more breadth. And unlike most of the Alto Piemonte wines, here you don't have any volcanic matter at all really in the soils here. You've got the beautiful freshness that you have from just coming off the mountains. But here the soils, it's a single escarpment really. You're on limestone, you've got beautiful clay soils. It's a magnificent place for making classic Nebbiolo. And it's a lovely, lovely wine. So I hope you really enjoy it. It's brand new wine for us. We only picked up a few bottles really, just enough for the wine club this time round, so let's hope for the best. And then we finish with another Nebbiolo. It's always nice to compare and contrast sometimes. This is Lapo's 2017. One of the hottest and driest vintages on record, but it just defied all expectations. The 17s are tasting so fresh and good. I'm really looking forward to this tasting. Because you'll see what I mean when you taste the wines. You'll take one look and go, wow, see what he's done. The freshness is off the scale. It's great. And yet Lapo only makes 1,000 bottles. So this is from the commune of La Mora. So he only rents a few rows of vines. It's very naturally made, so open barreled, soft punching down. Really a very gentle approach to the winemaking and just trying to show the best side of the Nebbiolo that he possibly can. It's now 5 years old. It's still quite a young wine, but I think the small bottle tasting for this could be really, really good fun. It's looking like a Really good case, actually. If you're interested, if you're watching this and you think, quite fancy the small bottle tasting, just go online, have a quick look at our wine club page, and you'll see all of the ways that you can get involved, even if you're not a member. So I hope that is all fantastic. If you have any questions about joining anything like that, do give me a shout and we'll speak to you later. Okay, see you on the 20th. Bye.